If you've been feeling flat, numb, or empty inside, like the aliveness that you used to feel has just completely disappeared, well, I want to show you something. Look at the word void, isn't it? Now look at the word avoidance. The void isn't happening to you. You created it. And the moment you see how, you'll know exactly how to get out. See, everyone online is treating the void like it's this mysterious spiritual phase that you just have to survive, like sit in the darkness long enough and eventually the light will come back. But that type of framing keeps you very passive and it keeps you waiting. And waiting is exactly the problem, because the void isn't a phase, unless you make it, it's a symptom. And once you see what it's a symptom of, you'll realize that you've been looking at this completely backwards. So here's the thing that nobody is saying about the void. It's not a frequency issue. It's not a spiritual regression. And it's actually not that mysterious once you understand one very specific thing about how the mind works. So think about the last time that you felt something that you didn't want to feel. Maybe it was anger at someone you love. Grief that you didn't really have space for. Well, what did you do with it? Well, most people, especially people in spiritual communities, well, they learned to move it along, breathe through it, transcend it, reframe it into something a little bit more palatable. And it works. But here's what nobody tells you. It doesn't go away. It goes underground. And it takes something with it when it leaves. And that is the aliveness that was attached to it, the charge. And do that enough times across enough feelings, across enough things, and what's left on the surface is this grey, flat, hollow nothing. That's the void. It's not a spiritual phase. It's of everything that you've been sidestepping, that you've been avoiding. And this is why telling somebody to just sit in the darkness is actually terrible advice, because sitting in the darkness while still avoiding the thing that puts you there just makes that void deeper. So let's look at what created the void and what you've been avoiding. Because here's where it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Because the thing that you've been avoiding, it's almost never what you think it is. In my experience, it comes down to one of three things. And at least one of these is going to land for you. Now, the first one surprises people because it's the thing that spiritual communities are most likely to frame as growth. Now, you've probably heard some version of this. The goal is to transcend your emotions, to not be reactive, to respond from a higher place rather than getting sucked into the drama of feeling. And there's some truth in that. But somewhere along the way, for a lot of people, transcending feelings just became a sophisticated way of not feeling them at all. See, anger got reframed as low vibration. Grief was spiritualized before it ever actually was able to be felt. Fear got breathed through with our pranayama before it was ever actually heard. And those unfelt emotions, they didn't go anywhere. They settled. They accumulated. And they created a kind of weight that just sits in you and shows up eventually as numbness. So that's the first thing. Raw emotion, over-spiritualized, isn't it? When we label this as unspiritual, it can quietly be buried. Now, the second one is subtler. And it's probably the one that will land hardest if you've been in the void for a long period of time. There's something you know, yeah? You might not be letting yourself say it out loud or even think it too clearly, but it's there. Maybe it's about a relationship that isn't actually working. Maybe it's about a direction your life is supposed to go that scares you. Maybe it's about a version of yourself you've been protecting, a self-concept, an identity that you can feel is potentially starting to crack. See, the mind avoids these things because fully acknowledging them means that something has to change. And change is damn uncomfortable, isn't it? So instead, the mind gives us the void to experience, because that numbness that's created in the void is actually easier to live with sometimes than clarity. Because at least with numbness, yeah, You don't have to do anything yet. You're not asked to grow, but the soul knows. And when the soul is being ignored, it goes quiet. And that quiet is the second thing. Yeah? There's a truth in you that is remaining unacknowledged. We're avoiding it. And now the third one that we're bringing up here is the one people are least likely to admit to themselves. Spiritual practice can, on some level, become a bit of a bubble, can't it? And bubbles feel amazing to live in until you realize that you've actually stopped living. The practices, the content, the framework, all of it real, all of it completely valuable. But there's a version of the spiritual path that does become a way of insulating yourself from reality, from the world, rather than showing up in it. Real experience, it's bloody messy, isn't it? It's uncertain, but it's definitely alive. And it asks things of you that, meditation can prepare you for, but can't help you live. And if the practice has become a way of avoiding that aliveness rather than meeting it, well, then life starts to feel a bit thin. And that's the third thing, yeah? Avoiding life itself. And what I mean by that is the raw, uncertain, fully inhabited version of it in favor of the bubble of spirituality that you've built around yourself to protect you. So then how are we going to get out? Because most people approach the void the way they approach any uncomfortable feeling, from the outside. Yeah, they try a different practice, new content. Maybe that's what you'll hear. A new framework, a new vibrational frequency, a new state. Yeah, none of it works. Not because those things aren't valuable, but because they're aimed to enliven your prana, maybe, or to get you to see things, but awareness isn't enough. You see, the void, it is on the surface, but it's also coming from a very deep place of all of that stuff that you've repressed and you haven't allowed you to feel. You haven't allowed yourself to acknowledge these things inside. And so there's a version of life that you aren't fully inhabiting. Some part of you knows right now, as you're watching this, exactly what you've been sidestepping. If that makes you feel uncomfortable inside when I say that, that is probably showing you the thing, isn't it? So next time that you're feeling that grey flatness that's coming from avoidance, rather than going to a meditation or a new frequency playlist, can we get curious? Can we ask ourselves, what am I not letting myself feel right now? What do I know that I'm pretending not to know? And where have I been playing it safe? This is the beginning of the doorway. Because the answer that comes up, that is the door. Walk through it and the void is going to start to fill. Why? Because you've been avoiding this, your energy has got all caught up in it. That's what's creating the numbness, isn't it? And now it's time to move through the door by no longer avoiding that which we know is going to take us to that next level of life. So now you know what's been feeding the void. Here's what surprises most people. Once you stop avoiding the thing, the direction in your life comes back really fast. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to generate a frequency strong enough that feeling lost stops becoming an option. So you can watch that one right there.